Welcome back again to the 423 Football Podcast. Today is going to be our Week 3 preview show. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined by Brett Hamilton.
Hello.
And Peyton Light is finally here.
Hey.
And like I said, Week 3 preview show. We're going to talk some injuries, starts and sits, go through each matchup, and see what's going on in the league for Week 3. But before that, a little quick question, a little debate. We all know how well Kareem Hunt has been doing the past couple weeks. He's the talk of the town right now. So, my question to you guys is, who would you have or rather have rest of the season, Kareem Hunt or LeVeon Bell?
All right, well, I'll go ahead and take the first go at this. I know where Brett's going to go, so I'm going to say he's kind of right, but no. The way Kareem's scoring right now, the way he's running the ball, I would go with Kareem all the way. But I think a lot of Le'Veon's issues are stemming, or lack of point scoring, are really stemming from the fact that he didn't practice with the team. He wasn't there for preseason. I think it's just a lot of kinks he's got to get out of the system and really get back in the groove of playing ball again with these guys. But I think it's going to pick up. But he's at, about a 50-point deficit pretty much right now. So he's got a long way to go before he catches Kareem.
Well, he's definitely playing catch-up the rest of the season. Kareem off to a fantastic start. I'm gonna say Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt's in a perfect situation for him. They love him. They're going to give him the touches. He's got the big playability. Now, I'm not saying Le'Veon Bell is bad, because he's still top 5 running back. But I think fantasy football production is going to come from Kareem Hunt this year.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that Le'Veon has started off he has had a slow start coming into the year. But, I mean, he's still going to be top 5 back without question.
I'm still not panicking.
Not a doubt in my mind. But
I just really like Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, and it's not to say that, hey, Le'Veon Bell needs to catch up to Kareem Hunt. It's just from, Week 3 on, Le'Veon Bell, do you believe Le'Veon Bell will be outscored by Kareem Hunt?
No. I think people will start to at least kind of hone in a little bit. No, I take that back. I'm really not sure. Kansas City is looking good across the board on offense, so
I think the Steelers are going to lean more on the passing game to Antonio Brown and Martavis. I think they're really going to try to exploit that dynamic duo that we saw in Week 2.
But, I mean, we've seen the Steelers' offense support all 3 of those guys before. And Le'Veon, he had 27 carries last week. The thing is, I don't know. He's the patient runner that we know he's the patient runner that we've seen the past couple of years. He's really not the fastest or strongest guy.
Yeah, he's just smart.
No, he's very, very smart. But he's not really getting receptions like he used to.
No, and that hurts.
Yeah,
fantasy production.
Yeah, with Juju Smith-Schuster being in there, I think he caught a touchdown this past week. Yeah. He slid into that kind of slot role, and Le'Veon played a lot of those slot snaps the past couple of years. So, I mean, it could hurt his value a little bit, but still, I think Le'Veon he's going to be a top 5 back. I do believe Kareem Hunt will be a top 5 back. It's just kind of your preference on which one you want to do. But,
right.
Yeah, but Peyton, you're the Le'Veon Bell owner. I'm the Kareem Hunt owner. If I was to send you that trade right now, what would you do?
Oh, I'd take Kareem in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just the way the Chiefs run their offense, they lean more on the running back than they do the pass game. Whereas the Steelers, I mean, they have no issues airing it out. They'll throw to Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant all day if they can. So, I mean, Le'Veon is just... It's a 50-50 situation, whereas, I mean, Kansas City, you've got Kareem and Tyreek, but, they're your 2 superstars. You don't have 3 or 4 on the field. So.
Yeah. Dollar bet, anybody, for Kareem Hunt over Le'Veon?
I'll take the dollar.
Rest of the way from Week 3 on.
I'll take the dollar.
I'm an idiot, but I'll go against him.
All right, so you're saying Kareem Hunt is
Kareem
more?
Hunt.
We'll go Le'Veon. I'll have to hope. He's on my team.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Le'Veon there. So yeah, so dollar bet there. So now we're just going to jump right on into the Week 3 preview. Starting off, Thursday night game, Rams versus 49ers. I like Carlos Hyde in this game, like Todd Gurley in this game. I think you're starting both of those guys. The questions come down to the pass catchers. Are you guys really what pass catchers are you willing to play in this matchup?
I'm not.
You're not at all?
No, I don't believe. I'm not confident in any one wide receiver. That's the problem. I know there'll be.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are going to have like a situation where they have a lot of these guys on their team. They have Pierre Garcon, they have Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp, even Marquise Goodwin.
If I had to choose, I would choose Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
You think the targets are there for him?
Yep, I do. I think he has the biggest likelihood to find the end zone this week.
I'm going same team, other guy on the field. I'm going Sammy. I mean, he's your number one guy for the Rams. I mean, but as both of you have pointed out, it's really a toss-up. Someone's going to score some points. It's just a matter of who is it going to be. So
yeah, and another kind of a sneaky play, and again, we've been talking about tight ends and all the injuries there lately, but Gerald Everett, he had a pretty nice game last week for the Rams. Just a possible deep league play at the tight end position. And Jared Goff and Brian Hoyer, possible deep league guys to start. The matchups are okay. I do like Jared Goff a little bit more, but Hoyer has shown that he can put up fancy points at the quarterback position. So, Rams 49ers. Who we got winning this game?
Rams
all the way. And just to let everyone know, these picks every week, we do the NFL Pick'em, or the weekly Pick'em. Brett has a commanding lead with 5 games over us in the Pick'em. Hopefully, me and Peyton will.
I'm not in last, so
yeah. So
at least you're not in last.
Yeah, we'll give updates on that throughout the season.
Yeah. Let's move on into our next matchup: Ravens and Jaguars. This is brought to you from 9:30 a.m. in London. There's serious fantasy impacts. Those London games. They screwed me out of a win last year because I was too dumb to realize that the game was in London.
Yeah.
And I didn't start the players that I should have based on that game. So really focused on that 9:30 start time.
Yeah, especially all those. I know there's a lot of fancy players out there. A few in our league too. That they wake up and honestly they set an alarm to remind them to set their lineup at 12:30.
Yep.
And if you do that, you're going to miss out. If you have Ravens and Jags in there,
I completely missed that last year, and don't let it happen to you. So let's talk about the matchup a little bit though. Ravens Jags. First tough defense for the Ravens this year, I think. How do you think the Jags do in this game?
I honestly think it's going to be kind of low scoring. I think the Jags will pretty much shut down, like you said. It's the first tough defense they've faced. I think Jags will shut down a lot of the passing game from Joe Flacco and the Ravens. They have been their defenses look like the best in the league so far this year. I know definitely a streaming option. I know we'll talk about that a little later, but I think they had 27 week 1 or something like that, and then 17 points this past week. And now they get to face Blake Bortles, who's going to throw them, or just basically hand them the ball a couple times, and definitely give them some points there. But a situation to watch, Terrence West may not play. Like I said, he was dealing with the soft tissue injury last week, and that's the reason Buck Allen is getting all these carries and all this hype right now. So I'd still like starting Buck Allen even against this tough Jags defense. Yeah. But on the other side of the ball, you're starting Leonard Fournette. You're doing that every week. You most likely put a lot of draft stock into the guy. So if you have Leonard Fournette, definitely roll him out there. Now the Jags pass catchers. I just want to note Jalen Strong just got released by the Texans, and he just signed with the Jags. I don't think there's much there. Granted,
I mean
the Jags are hurting in the wide receiver department. If you're going to choose one, Marquise Lee or Allen Hurns, which one are you going with?
I'm going Marquise Lee. I liked what I saw from him from week 2. I like the reliance on him. I think he's going to be the most reliable target. I mean, Allen Hurns, he's quick. He's almost comparable to Allen Robinson. Technically not skill, definitely, but as far as the type of player, But he's just no replacement for Allen Robinson. I just think they're going to phase into Marquise Lee and focus on him going forward.
Yeah, I mean, he saw 12 targets and 7 catches last week. I think Marquise Lee is your go-to guy. I mean, Allen Hurns can be fairly consistent. He'll be like a 7 or 8 pointer a week, but
yeah. Well, I mean, Allen Hurns, he did have the touchdown this week, and he had a bigger week. But if you look at the target share, Marquise Lee is definitely going to be the guy. But granted, they're still coming from Blake Bortles, and they're still trying to transfer.
And that is the issue.
Yeah, they're trying to transfer to a running-based team, which is why Leonard Fournette is the guy to own in Jacksonville.
They've got the garbage time champion QB.
Yeah.
But say what you will about garbage time, it's still fantasy points.
It counts. God, just makes me, with the whole Lee and Hurns and Allen Robinson being out, if D.D. Westbrook being on the IR right now, we saw what he could do in preseason, and if he was able to get on the field right after that Allen Robinson injury, I think it would have been impressive, and I think he'd be one of our top waiver wire ads right now.
I agree.
But yeah, Ravens and Jags. Who we got?
Oh, Lord. Based upon how the Jags performed last week, I'm definitely going Ravens. And also, I just want to note, I think this will be a good tell of how Jeremy Maclin's doing. He's been pretty consistent so far. So.
Yeah, and
this defense will be a good test.
Yeah, and speaking of... I like that you mentioned Jeremy Maclin because he's obviously the guy scoring the touchdowns right now for the Ravens. I do like Benjamin Watson at the tight end position. Mike Wallace is I love the guy at the beginning of the year, but it might be the beginning of the end for Mike Wallace. I think he's probably borderline droppable right now.
I was pretty high on him going into the season, but I think he is full on droppable. I think there's better options for the wide receiver position out there. I am also going with the Ravens for this game.
Ravens all around. Two sweeps right there.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and shift into our third game. So we've got the Broncos and the Bills. So what are you guys thinking about the old Broncos?
I am loving the Broncos right now. If you heard the last show, we were talking about how Trevor Siemian's looking like the future Tom Brady, or that was my claim to fame right there.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, very, very bold in that department. But the running backs are looking good. Wide receivers are looking pretty good. Their defense is obviously one of the best in the league. So, but on the Broncos side of the ball, I'm saying start all your Broncos. I expect a big game for C.J. Anderson. I also expect a big game for Jamal Charles. I think this will be one of the few games where the Broncos' 2 running backs both get in the end zone. And like we said, I think Jamal Charles, we had a lot of hate at the beginning of the year on the guy, but he's coming on strong. And I think in the limited role that he has, kind of like spelling C.J. Anderson, I think that's a perfect role for him, especially at his age and his injury history.
Yeah. I like that.
And then on the other side of the ball, LaShawn, I mean...
Disappointing so far, but...
But, I mean, yeah, you do have to start him. He's one of your first, second-round picks. You have to put him in there. He's got to surge at some point. But the Bills are looking pretty... not great right now.
Yeah, they're looking a little ugly. There's not a lot of guys you can trust on that team other than LaShawn McCoy. Tyrod Taylor had a lot of hype for him going into last week, and definitely not going to get any easier this week with the Broncos. I do believe Charles Clay has some value in this game. He had a bad game last week. He kind of flopped on us. He was one of our flops of the week. But Broncos are vulnerable at the tight end position when covering tight ends. So I think if you were going to start any Bills, I think LaShawn McCoy and possibly Charles Clay this week.
Possibly Charles Clay. LaShawn McCoy, yeah, like you said, you have to start him regardless based on how much you paid for him in draft value. Just not looking good for Tyrod this week. He really, really struggled against that Panthers D. And we know the Broncos have a good defense, so it's just not going to look good for him.
So who do y'all have as your winners for this game?
I have the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going Broncos too.
Yep, Broncos. Three clean sweeps already. Yep. Moving on, Saints versus Panthers. Question is, we brought this up earlier in our last show. Do the Panthers actually have an elite defense?
No, sir.
They played the 49ers and Bills the past 2 weeks, so we really haven't seen what they can do. But
honestly, I mean, is this Is the Saints going to be that big of a difference in matchup? I mean,
I do think so because even though the Saints, it's going to be in Carolina. Obviously, Drew Brees has his home and road splits are pretty significant, but the Saints are a much better offense than either
the Bills and the 49ers.
Yeah. I do believe the Saints get back on track in this game. Again, we're talking about the Saints running back rotation: Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson, Alvin Kamara. I think I want to say there's only 17 carries in this game between or in the past game for the Saints, but I think it's just going to be a messy situation throughout the year as long as they have Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. I love Mark Ingram. I wish they'd just let him do his thing.
We know you love Mark Ingram.
Yeah, and then let Kamara come in and be the third down back, and even more because he got a ton of work in the first game, and I thought that was going to be a sign of like, hey, Kamara could be a really nice guy to own, especially in PPR. But I don't know. It's like there's a lot of backfields like this right now, but Saints is like I don't know. What's a good way to explain? I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. It's like
the Seahawks. It's like you've got two kind of power guys. Well, I don't know. Mark Ingram's pretty versatile, but I mean, Adrian Peterson is just going to hand it to him and run it up the middle.
It's like I don't know. It's like a dog chasing a car. The Saints went out. They went and grabbed, or the Saints were the dog. They went out and grabbed the car and Adrian Peterson, and they got him, but they don't know what to do with him. Yeah. It's like they don't.
He doesn't fit the offense. They have too many other running backs. It was a bad move for the Saints to go out and get him. It was totally unnecessary. I think Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara could do it by themselves. But I don't think Adrian Peterson's bad. I mean, a lot of people are dogging him, saying he's already fallen off. I don't think that's true. I just think it's a bad situation for him in the Saints. But I don't know where else he could go. I mean,
do you try to trade him?
I mean, he's a veteran player. He's name recognition, but I don't know where he could go.
I'm telling you, he'd look good on the Cardinals. But the thing is with the Saints and, like we said, other teams, Seahawks, Bengals, if you don't give like one or two guys the majority of the work, if you try to split it completely evenly between 3-4 guys, there's no rhythm there, and it trickles down to the rest of the offense. And you got to have a basis for a run game. Now, granted, as much as I don't want to say it, it would be better for the Saints if they just said even get rid of one of the guys, even if they want to say get rid of Mark Ingram and then just roll with Adrian and Kamara. At least they'd have a rhythm going. Right. But on the other side of the ball, no Greg Olsen in this game. Broken foot.
That's going to be a huge factor.
Blew up my team.
I mean, one of Cam's go-to guys, as we said before, Cam can't throw the football, and if there's not reliable guys to catch the football and big targets like Greg Olsen,
Greg is reliable.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. But I'm starting to love Kelvin Benjamin even more. The matchups, I know he's kind of disappointed the past couple weeks, but the Saints are extremely vulnerable on defense.
And they're horrible on defense.
They are.
And who else is Cam going to throw it to?
Nobody. And
that's the only option he has.
He's a huge target. So
he
picked up a lot from week 2 off of week 1. I see a lot out of Kelvin this year.
And another thing we're going to be talking about for a while, Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Stewart.
Still messy.
Yeah, I'm going to ask this probably every week. Which one would you rather start in this game?
If I were the Panthers, I would bump Christian McCaffrey out to the slot a few plays, and
that's not the worst idea.
And just let him do some stuff. I mean,
he could turn into Duke Johnson Jr.
Exactly.
Yeah. Duke Johnson Jr.
Jr. The third.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess that's the third. Just kidding, guys.
All right. So Saints and Panthers. I got the Saints winning this one.
I also have the Saints.
I'm gonna go the Saints too.
Man,
I've gone against the Panthers in both weeks, and they have proven me wrong. But I think it turns around. It stops in week 3.
Yeah, I think the Saints get back on track.
So let's move on into the Steelers versus the Bears. The Bears struggling to get anything going against the Buccaneers week 2. Mike Glennon was a turnover machine. The Buccaneers defense is really good. I mean, I think they're the real thing, but I also think that Mike Glennon is just going to be pretty turnover heavy this season, as long as they rely on him. Which we could. Is this the week we see Trubisky?
Yes, please.
I hope. I do hope he gets the job pretty soon. We saw him dress last week, so that was more than the first week.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at another rookie that's gotten an opportunity and really not done well is Deshaun Kaiser. I think Trubisky is better than Deshaun Kaiser, but I still don't think that Trubisky has any more fantasy value.
But you have to assess the situation. You're talking about the Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun never had a chance, but Trubisky. I like Trubisky. I mean, if they put him in, but let's get back to the players who will actually
matter.
Yeah. Le'Veon Bell. Let's just be real. I feel like this is the game. This is the game. He comes out. He proves. He proves.
Gets 3 touchdowns and shuts everybody up.
Yeah. I'm a 1B running back. Actually 1A now. Sorry about that.
You're not playing me this week, so I do hope that happens. I would like to see that. I mean, I don't like Le'Veon being an underperformer every week.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I just know Le'Veon is. Having Le'Veon play like he has is just not going to work for me. But now shifting, obviously we can talk about Antonio and Martavis, but I think the Steelers are going to get up kind of early in this game, and they're not going to try and they'll use Le'Veon to drill it into him.
Yeah, that's been Le'Veon's claim to fame. Late game runner.
But do you sit Martavis Bryant?
No, you're rolling all your you're rolling all your Steelers out there. I do know it being an away game, it's obviously that's kind of in the back of your mind for maybe if you have a better option for Ben Roethlisberger. But the rest of your Steelers, you're definitely starting.
Landry Jones, then?
Heck no.
Oh, okay.
But on the other side of the ball, Jordan Howard, again, we're monitoring the shoulder injury. He left the game last week with a sling on his right shoulder. So Tariq Cohen, we still have a lot of love for that guy. He's going to be
start him.
Yeah,
play him.
He's the only, especially if Jordan Howard's out. It's definitely
that's not
even
even a question.
He's in.
Yeah,
still play
and in PPR, he had Buccaneers kind of shut him down last week in the run game, but Tariq Cohen,
they still had lots of receiving yards.
Yeah, and Tariq Cohen's pretty much the only playmaker the Bears have right now, and that's what they need.
Besides Mitchell Trubisky.
Until Trubisky gets out there, then we'll be throwing dimes to Tariq Cohen. All right, so Steelers and Bears. I got the Steelers.
Oh, I hate to... I mean, it's clearly the Steelers, but I just hate how we've agreed on everything.
It's okay.
Steelers all around. It's honestly kind of an easy week for picks. There's a lot of
there's a lot of mismatches.
A lot of lopsided matchups.
But shifting into another lopsided matchup.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be. We've got the Falcons and the Lions.
I think this is going to be one of the better games of the week.
I don't know. I mean, the Falcons have been playing really well. Devontae's been just killing it. He killed
Stafford,
last week. So.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh,
he
looks
good.
Great play, but the Falcons, I just think are a superior team. But we'll get to.
I agree with that
discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Julio. I mean, look okay. He hasn't been terrific yet so far.
Well, they got up big against the Packers, and his production kind of fell off. He had a really good first half. They just didn't throw it. They just didn't have a need to throw it very much in the fourth quarter. But he still produced.
Yeah, I assume Darius Slay is going to be on Julio this game. I really don't think it matters. Julio's pretty much matchup proof.
Yeah.
I do think Tevin Coleman has another good game here. Lions kind of struggle covering pass catching running backs. Mohamed Sanu maybe a sneaky play. But on the other side of the ball, Matthew Stafford, I think he could be decent. No Vic Beasley in this game. Falcons are going to be without him for a while. So the pass rush isn't going to be as prolific as they would like. So Stafford might have some good time to throw in the pocket. Now for the Lions pass catchers, obviously Marvin Jones got in the end zone last week. Even Eric Ebron had an Eric Ebron sighting there. Finally, a lot of people have been hyping Eric Ebron for a while. And obviously Golden Tate and Kenny Golladay. But are you liking the pass catchers for the Lions?
I think there are just too many of them. They're going to have to narrow it down. I mean, as you saw, Kenny Galladay went from an 18-point outing to 1.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of love to spread and just...
Yeah, I think Golden Tate is going to be the most consistent guy just because
Right.
he's that dink and dunk kind of player underneath routes.
Right.
But another player to look at on the Lions, Amir Abdullah, 17 carries in week 2. It's definitely not a run-based team, but they're trying to move to a more balanced team. So Amir Abdullah may be an okay play if you're desperate. I still like Theo Riddick being the third down guy, catching balls out of the backfield, but I don't know. What do you guys think of Amir Abdullah?
I don't know. 17 carries in week 2 looks pretty good I mean, he's getting the touches. I don't know about him going forward. I feel like Theo Riddick's a better play just because of his receiving threat. But a good question I had, Tevin Coleman or Amir Abdullah?
Tevin Coleman all day.
Yeah,
That's not even
Tevin
close.
Coleman.
Tevin Coleman, you can probably roll out there as an RB2 most weeks, but Amir Abdullah, he's a low-end flex play.
Okay.
Definitely go. And it's mainly one Tevin Coleman. We have a history of him actually doing something, and the offense is much, much better in Atlanta.
Question: would you give up if you were the Lions? Would you give up one of your receivers, a pretty good one for Adrian?
No.
Would you try and approach? You wouldn't approach with that trade?
No, because again, the Lions aren't the running team.
I don't think he fits that offense
No.
either. I think he would have not the same problem as the Saints, but
I
another
understand. I
offense that
understand what
doesn't
you're
make
thinking
sense.
there,
Yeah.
but I just don't think it's kind of similar with the Saints that they're just not
Yeah.
a run first team. But moving on, who we got in this game? Falcons or Lions?
Falcons.
I've got the Falcons.
Falcons, man.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the Lions.
Come on,
Brandon.
you're repping hard
Yeah,
for the
I know.
Lions.
God,
I mean, I think it's going to be a good game, but
Get outta here.
I like the Falcons winning. Hey, we're going to have to start making some contrarian picks to catch up with Brett on this pick'em situation.
I think we might be coming up on it. So
Right here, yeah, this might be a good one.
Yeah. Talking about the next matchup, Browns versus Colts. On first glance, this does look like a dumpster fire. Colts, they need Andrew Luck back so bad. He's already ruled out. We've already gone over that. They need him so bad.
Yeah,
It's
still not
just-
starting any Colts in my opinion.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
If you're in dire situations, I could justify starting Frank Gore. He got in the end zone last week. He had a pretty good day on a decent outing. I mean, I know it's against the Cardinals and they're kind of struggling, but
Yeah, the Browns have been pretty good against running backs of late. They did okay against the Ravens backs last week. I know Terrence West got in the end zone. Buck Allen had a pretty decent game, but then the week before they shut down LeVeon completely. That shocked everybody. But I do think the only other player possibly, just because I guess I'll kind of go back on what I said, saying avoid all the Colts. But tight ends, they're pretty much all injured right now, and Jack Doyle has shown that he's been catching quite a few balls each game, so he could be a valuable
Ty, you
pick.
Ty?
No, I'm not.
I'm not
no
passing.
Andrew Luck. He's not a good
I'm not starting pass catchers. But do you think the Browns is a worse matchup for Frank Gore than, or a better matchup? Well, no, a worse matchup than the Cardinals.
I honestly think it's pretty close, but the only reason Gore was even relevant last week was because of the touchdown, and those are kind of fluky. So I'm straying away from Frank Gore this week if I can help it.
Yeah.
I do think it's a good matchup on the other side of the ball for Deshaun Kaiser to actually get something going. I know he had the awful game last week, 3 interceptions, but if there's a defense to exploit, it's definitely the Colts.
Yeah, it's a level playing field, 2 high school teams.
But Yeah, and we got Isaiah Crowell. Obviously, he's been kind of a disappointment the past couple weeks.
Yeah, he has.
Duke Johnson, obviously getting the flashy plays.
Man, that
ridiculous
catch.
one-handed catch.
Golly, it was insane.
But I think Crowell gets on track as well here. Browns pass catchers though, Corey Coleman, we know he's out with a broken hand for a while.
Yet another piece that blew up on my team.
Go on. A lot of salt from Peyton tonight. But Kenny Britt hasn't really shown anything of late. If I was going to pick a guy, it'd probably be Rashard Higgins. He came from, I think, Colorado State in the same draft class that Corey Coleman did. Bit of an afterthought, though. But
came up from the practice squad.
Yeah, he had, I think 7 catches in this game for like 90-something yards.
Yeah.
I think
really strong.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. He had, I believe at Colorado State, he had like 17 touchdowns in 1 year.
Yeah.
So I know that was a college game, but
yeah.
I think if I was going to pick a Browns pass catcher, it'd probably be Higgins.
Yeah.
But yeah, Browns and Colts, not a exciting matchup, but who you guys taking in this one?
I'm going to say Colts.
I'm going Browns.
I'm going Browns as well.
Woo-wee. That'll be a good game.
It's going to be Deshaun's breakout.
That's our catch-up game to Brett.
He's going to break in next week. He's going to come back in. Anyways, next game we've got I'm actually kind of excited about this game. It's the Buccaneers and the Vikings. I don't know. I love what I see from the Buccaneers, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just like I like Dalvin Cook. You know, like. I don't know.
You saw the Buccaneers completely shut down the Vikings not the Vikings.
The Bears.
The Bears. Last week, the run game just wasn't a factor. I mean, they have a monstrous front seven. But Dalvin, I think the biggest question is Sam Bradford going to play this game or not?
Yeah, we're going to be looking at this for, I think, weeks to come. It's a knee injury. It's on the same knee where he tore the ACL.
Yeah.
It's swelling.
They still haven't ruled him out, but the thing that worried me is, I don't know if y'all watched it, but whenever he took the field to warm up before the game, he wasn't moving almost at all. He threw 2 passes and he said, "No, I'm good," and then just walked off. And he wasn't rolling back. He wasn't doing anything. I mean, he was in some serious. He couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, knee
swelling. That does not look good.
Knee swelling's a big issue, and you got to take it kind of slow.
Yeah.
And just wait for the swelling to go down, because if you do any kind of damage to the scar tissue and stuff like that,
right,
while it's swollen, then you can really, really damage it.
Yeah.
But on the Buccaneers side of the ball, I'm starting pretty much every Buck player I have.
Yep.
Jaquiz Rodgers, he's going to be the guy until Doug Martin comes back. Mike Evans is going to be fine. Jameis Winston, fine play. I know a lot of people started Cameron Brate last week. Wasn't the greatest of weeks, but I still think Cameron Brate's a viable option at tight ends.
Jameis still really likes Cameron Brate. He loves throwing it up to him in the end zone. Deshaun Jackson, I know he didn't have a touchdown, but he got a lot of end zone looks.
Yeah, a lot of deep passes, too.
A couple of passes that were just a little bit off. If Winston had thrown it a foot behind, it would have been perfect, and he would have scored a touchdown. I don't see any reason why you couldn't start Deshaun as a flex play if you're kind of weak at the running back position.
Yeah, and going back to what Peyton said, Dalvin Cook's probably the only startable Viking if Sam Bradford's out. But Dalvin Cook, hopefully, I think he gets in the end zone this game. He had that one taken back last week, which should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, God, that about killed me.
Yeah,
it was a touchdown. There's no reason they should overturn that.
Yeah, we won't hang on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vikings and Buccaneers. Who we got?
Buccaneers.
Nice. No faith in. I guess there's not a lot of faith in Sam Bradford playing in this game.
That's wrong. You picked the Colts last time. You're a fool.
All right, Texans and Patriots. Not a terrible matchup for the Texans. Patriots defense isn't really that stonewall defense that we've seen in the past. So I think Lamar Miller and DeAndre Hopkins are good plays. Granted, those are pretty much the only 2 Texans that are, I think, fantasy relevant this week. A lot of people say, I know Deshaun Watson had a pretty good week last week. It was against the Bengals. He did it mostly with his legs, which that's where his fantasy production is going to come from.
That's perfectly fine for fantasy.
But it's definitely not a good situation in the fact that Bill Belichick is going to be coaching on the other sideline, and he's going to make life hell for Deshaun Watson.
I agree.
Another thing to monitor, a lot of injuries on the Patriots side of the ball. Rob Gronkowski left that game with a groin injury. They said it's nothing major, but something you might want to look at throughout the week. Patriots are also only down to 2 healthy wide receivers. Philip Dorsett had a knee injury. He might be out this game. Danny Amendola still dealing with a concussion. So Brandon Cooks and Chris Hogan are the only guys healthy right now. I'm really, really, really liking James White. He's starting to be, or he's the clear pass catcher from out of the running backs. I think he might slide into a slot role, and it's hard to, or we've been saying it's hard to predict the consistency of the Patriots running backs.
I think we've picked 3 different running backs for all 3 weeks to target for the Patriots games.
I think,
and that's exactly how it's going to go.
Let's go Burkhead, Gillislee, James White, Deion Lewis gets spelled here and there, but not much. Patriots and Texans. Who do you guys got?
I've got the Patriots.
Patriots.
I just don't think
Patriots.
I don't think that Deshaun Watson has the he doesn't have the experience to take down an experienced veteran team like that.
And the Patriots aren't going to lose their first 2 games of the year at Foxborough. There's no way.
They've got to treat the home crowd. Dolphins versus Jets. We saw a couple of good things about. We saw a few good things from Jay Cutler with Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker last week. I don't like the Jets at all. Like the whole team is bad. I think they're actually trying to lose games. But who are you most high on for the Dolphins this week?
Jay Ajayi. They're going to get up and they're just going to feed him. So,
and the guy had 28 carries last week in the first game, or their first game of the year.
Yeah, I really like what I saw from him.
I love Jay Ajayi. And like I said, Jarvis Landry last week, 13 catches. I do think Devontae Parker gets in the end zone this game because I think they're going to basically pepper him with targets in the red zone. Dolphins defense also a very good play this week.
Yes.
Jets are, like we said, atrocious.
I honestly see this as a good chance for the Dolphins to really test out their pass game.
Test out the Jay Cutler connection.
Yeah, get a feel for Jay Cutler. So
that's true. I like that.
But
who you got winning?
Oh, Dolphins for sure.
Dolphins.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sweating on that.
Oh, I want to mention Austin Seferian-Jenkins comes back from suspension this week. It'll be good to keep an eye on that. But again, he plays for the Jets, so keep that in mind.
So shifting into our next game, we've got the Giants and the Eagles, 2 really staple teams that are really killing it. No, that was sarcasm. The Giants
won so much.
The Giants, it's kind of like they don't know who they are, and Eli Manning can't score more than 11.5 points to help
so
me
much salt.
help me
much.
win a game.
All of the
I
salt.
lost by 0.3. Everyone, if you didn't know,
because why?
Because I didn't start a defense because I thought Eli could score more than 11.5 points. Anyways, I don't know if Odell plays. It's a totally different Giants team. So
yeah, and granted, we saw Odell last week. Granted, he only played half the snaps, so if he's limited again, it's still not the best situation. Again, you have to roll Odell out there if he is going to play because it's Odell Beckham. You kind of have to do that.
Right.
But I am rising on Evan Ingram right now. I think he's basically another wide receiver. He's not really a tight end. He lines up in the tight end position, but man, he's probably honestly the second fastest receiver on that team.
That's true.
Aside from Odell, on the other side of the ball, don't like any Eagles running backs. Again, I've been saying drop LeGarrette Blount. He's finished. Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz think are solid plays this week. I think Ertz is honestly going to have a very big week. Janoris Jenkins might be out this game, so if you're thinking that he might be shadowing Alshon, if he is out, I definitely like Alshon even more. But who we got winning this game? I got the Eagles.
I've got the Eagles as well.
I'm going to go with... I think I'm just going to go with the Giants because I just don't like either team, and I have more players on the Giants. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and moving on into the Seahawks and the Titans. The Seahawks offense looks ugly right now.
Their offensive line looks atrocious.
Yeah,
it's hard to judge the rest of that offense because Russell Wilson is absolutely running for his life. Even when he doesn't have to run for his life, he still is because he's just used to it.
Yeah, but Chris Carson, the running back to own, Eddie Lacy, Thomas Rawls, kind of not too good at the moment. Doug Baldwin, just 10 points in the past 2 weeks. Still getting the most targets, so I think hang in there with him.
Yep.
Do you like any Titans players against the Seahawks defense, though?
I don't know. That's really tough. What about DeMarco Murray?
I'm still if DeMarco again. We're going to be monitoring the DeMarco hamstring injury. So if he's out there, I'm still rolling DeMarco over Derrick Henry. But if he is out, I really really like Derrick Henry. I think honestly, it's getting to that point where Derrick Henry might be the guy. But for this particular matchup, I'm I'm straying away from Marcus Mariota. I'm straying away from the pass catchers. I think Delaney Walker. If you're going to pick one guy out of that group, I think Delaney Walker could have.
He's still getting all. He's getting all the targets. He catches them. He's reliable, and young quarterbacks really like that.
All right, so Seahawks and Titans. Who we got?
I've got the Titans.
Titans. Wow.
Yeah.
All three against the Seahawks. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. I have faith in this Titans team.
Yeah. All right, Chiefs and Chargers, big divisional matchup. We're probably going to be talking about this division as one of the tighter races by the end of the season. Still like all my Chiefs. Kareem Hunt, obviously, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, even Alex Smith, I'm liking at the quarterback position. Yep. Starting Melvin Gordon, obviously. Now, Keenan Allen, he's going to be up against Marcus Peters, most likely. Does that drop Keenan Allen in your rankings at all?
No, I'd still play Keenan Allen.
I would not play Keenan Allen. If I had a better, it depends on roster construction, but I would try to avoid Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be kind of an inconsistent year for Keenan Allen and a lot of pass catchers on that team because obviously there's a bunch of wide receivers, got 2 different tight ends that are going out there every week, so maybe a little inconsistency there, but I still like Keenan Allen on the year. So Chiefs and Chargers. I got the Chiefs.
I've got the Chiefs as well.
Chiefs. Man, nothing different this week. All right, Bengals and Packers. Bengals seem to be just dysfunctional and just a lot of mutiny going on. Obviously, the offensive coordinator got fired last week. Marvin Lewis, though, he might be on the hot seat now. I definitely don't think if they lose to the Packers and go 0-3, he's gonna, because the Packers are a really good team. But if they go and play the Browns in Week 4,
I think the Browns would be the breaking point.
Yep.
If they start 0-4, there's going to be a lot of changes, and that's why I'll say this. I'll say this now because I know. Once I said the players are basically mutinying against Andy Dalton right now, and maybe A.J. McCarron gets out there at some point. But if they do go a different direction, obviously they fire the OC. If they fire the head coach in Marvin Lewis, I think it's time to definitely go and buy Joe Mixon because it's the same situation a few years back when the Dolphins were looking terrible. It was Lamar Miller was looking just horrendous in that offense. Yeah. Then they switched head coaches, and Lamar Miller just goes off on that team. They singled out one guy and picked one guy to be the guy in the backfield, and I think a new coach could come in and definitely turn things around there. I do like A.J. Green in theory in this game, and you're kind of starting him regardless. But I don't know.
It's not a good situation for him, but he's still one of the elite wide receivers.
He's an all-star talent with a middle schooler throwing the ball.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that AJ to AJ connection. But
AJ McCarron.
yeah, but you're starting all your Packers as usual. Just things to monitor though. Jordy Nelson, quad injury, he's going to be 50-50. Randall Cobb dealing with a shoulder injury. It's appeared to be minor, but just things to monitor throughout the week. Who we got winning this game, Packers or Bengals?
It's a Packers no-brainer.
Packers,
oh yeah.
Yeah, so shifting into the next game, because that one's going to be horrible, we've got the Raiders and the Redskins. So this is your Sunday night game. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Raiders, but, do you... Question, with Crabtree playing as well as he is and Amari Cooper not playing as well as Crabtree is, I mean, who do you like better going into this game? Do you see Amari Cooper stepping it up and taking more of the load? Or
I do think this game in particular that Amari Cooper will have it'll be more back to the middle ground between Cooper and Crabtree, especially like the target shares. Because I don't really know who Josh Norman's going to be on. I think it's going to be probably more Crabtree, but I do think it's going to be kind of back and forth all year between which guy has the better game. On the other side of the ball, though, you got to monitor Rob Kelly and Jordan Reed. They may not play in this game. They're considered day-to-day. Kelly dealing with the cartilage in his ribs, and Jordan Reed, I believe, dealing with a chest injury. Definitely something to monitor. If Kelly's out, who are you liking more, Samaje Perine or Chris Thompson?
Chris Thompson.
For this game, I like Samaje Perine.
Yeah, I do think the work is going to be there for Perine. Obviously, Chris Thompson, the third down guy.
Yeah.
Redskins still seem out of sync, though, so it's definitely not the best situation going on right now. Raiders don't have the best defense, though, so sure. I think it could be okay for Kirk Cousins in the passing game. I still don't like Terrell Pryor, though. Again, he was one of our guys for kind of one of our busts of the year. So, what do you guys have, or who do you have as the winner of this game, Raiders or Redskins?
Raiders, baby.
Got the Raiders.
Cowboys and Cardinals, Monday Night Football. Cowboys coming off a brutal loss to the Broncos. It was a very, very bad showing from pretty much everybody, other than Jason Witten, who got it in the end zone, and Des Bryant, who got in the end zone. But I do think Zeke will bounce back this game in a big way. I know we've had a lot of hate on Zeke lately. His team, or his coach and teammates have been hating on him too, saying lack of effort and everything. But I do think Zeke bounces back in this one. Des Bryant, again, he's got a tough cornerback matchup, and Patrick Peterson. Any worry there?
Don't play him.
Don't play him? I will say, I don't know if Peyton was here when I gave that stat of the 7 end zone targets that Des has. He leads the league by, I think, 4 end zone targets with 7 so far. So if there is any hope, hopefully he'll get in the end zone. And even, Des Bryant, he's a freak of nature. He's still one of the elite receivers in the league.
Yes.
It's just he doesn't
tough
really
matchup.
Yeah, he does seem to kind of fall apart against tougher cornerbacks. But on the Cardinals side of the ball, I'm still not touching any Cardinals backfield or any Cardinals running back.
You don't believe in Chris Johnson?
No, I don't believe in Chris Johnson. I don't believe in Kerwin Williams. Don't believe in anybody in that
Kerwin
backfield.
Williams looked awful.
Yeah, it was bad. But obviously J.J. Nelson had a big game last week. So what out of the top 3 or 4 Cardinals wide receivers, how would you rank those guys right now? Or especially for this week?
J.J. Nelson, Larry Fitzgerald, and J. Ron Brown in that order.
You agree, Peyton?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. And another name maybe to mention down the road, Chad Williams. He's the rookie that the Cardinals drafted this year. He might get some or more time if they continue to struggle the way they are.
That's
Again, true. Carson Palmer is not looking too young right now.
No, golly, he's got to turn something around.
Yeah, but Cowboys and Cardinals, Monday Night Football. I got the Cowboys.
I've got the Cowboys.
You got the boys all around.
Yeah.
All right, before we move into our starts and sits, I know there's a lot of injuries this week, so we're just going to go through a bunch of the injuries. I know it's a little early in the week, so these might change, but for now, just you guys, I'm going to go through them. You guys tell me if these guys are in or out. Terrence West dealing with soft tissue injury day to day.
Out.
In.
All right, Jordy Nelson dealing with the quad.
In.
Out.
Randall Cobb dealing with a shoulder injury.
Put him in.
In.
Jordan Reed, chest, day-to-day.
Oh, kick him out.
He's out.
He's not even worth playing.
Rob Kelly, ribs, day-to-day.
I think he's out.
Out.
Tyler Eifert dealing with back and knee issues.
Doesn't matter. Garbage team.
I think he's out.
Out. All right, Rob Gronkowski dealing with the groin.
Out.
In. But it was interesting. I will mention one thing about that is they're saying it's a groin injury, but he was clearly grasping his knee.
Yeah.
Like the whole way they were looking at his knee, which I thought was interesting. But
Maybe there's a lot of hush-hush in the Patriots when it comes to injuries.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do. I'm trying not to put too much time on this, but Gronk has had injuries in the past, and they always seem to rush him back. Why? They don't need him. They clearly do not need him to win games. They obviously, with him in there, they can dominate games. But just take it slow with the guy. You don't need to rush that guy back. But moving on, John Brown, quad injury.
I fear it's longer than we expect. I think he's out.
Out. Sam Bradford dealing with the knee.
Out for a while.
I think he's out.
Corey Davis, hamstring injury.
I'm gonna go in.
I'm gonna keep him out this week.
All right, Jordan Howard, shoulder injury.
I think he's out.
Bogus team. Out.
Bogus team. All right, wow. Tariq Cohen could be a big play if Jordan Howard does actually sit this game. All right, moving into the starts and sits. QBs, who you got as your start of the week?
I'm starting Peyton Manning. I mean, Trevor Siemian.
the
versus the Bills.
Yeah, I do like Trevor Siemian this week, and obviously maybe he gets another 22-point game. He's been looking good. I'm going with Carson Wentz playing the Giants.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Giants have been looking pretty awful as of late. So
and Carson Wentz has looked good.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. I have nothing but love for Carson Wentz. Moving on into our sit at quarterback. Who you got at the sit position?
I am sitting Tyrod Taylor versus that Broncos defense and that whole Broncos team.
Good pick there. I'm going Marcus Mariota against the Seahawks. We talked about that a little earlier. It's just not a good matchup, and Mariota has not been good, or he's never really had a good game against a top-tier defense.
But interesting, we all picked the Titans to beat the Seahawks.
I do. I think it's gonna be
fantasy production-wise, I think Marcus.
I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game, honestly. I think
the Titans grind it out.
Yeah, I do believe they squeeze it out. Running backs start of the week. I got Jay Ajayi.
I also have Jay Ajayi. That seems to me like a no-brainer.
Yeah, playing the Jets. Jets are terrible. Just to give you another name as a start of the week, go ahead and throw out Ty Montgomery there. Bengals look terrible. Ty Montgomery is the guy in Green Bay.
He's starting every week for me.
Yeah. Running back sits. Who you got?
I'm sitting Joe Mixon versus the Packers.
I agree. Again, we got a lot going on in that Bengals backfield.
Until that situation settles down. I think Joe Mixon's definitely the play late season, but not right now.
Yeah. I'm still hanging on to that Joe Mixon MVP pick, but we'll see. I'm going with Jordan Howard. I think he was my sit last week, too.
Yeah.
But
assuming he plays, I think I'd still sit him.
He is looking horrible even when he's in there.
Yep.
So not the best play for week 3.
No.
Now, wide receivers, start of the week. Who you got?
Got Kelvin Benjamin versus the Saints.
You took my guy. You took Kelvin from me.
I love that matchup, especially with Greg Olsen being out. I think he's just going to get peppered, and I think he's going to see the end zone 2 times.
All right, good pick there. Keenan Allen is my sit of the week. Like we said earlier, probably facing Marcus Peters. That Chiefs secondary is actually a pretty strong one, and I don't think Keenan Allen's going to produce that much this week. Who you got?
I also have Keenan Allen.
We keep stealing each other's picks.
I know, but I don't trust him against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, we're gonna have, or when we post our starts and sits on Twitter, we'll have some more guys out there. I know we've kind of overlapped a few here, but we'll get you guys some more players to start and sit. Moving on into tight ends, Jason Witten is my start of the week.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm playing he's playing the Cardinals. Cardinals are known to be kind of vulnerable when it comes to guarding the tight end. Yeah. So I definitely like Jason Witten, and again, he's probably out there on most of your waiver wires right now.
Yeah, in most leagues he is. I'm starting Evan Ingram against the Eagles. I still don't believe in the Giants' offense right now. I think the Eagles are going to win the game, but I just think that they're going to get him more and more involved in the passing game because he's a huge target.
Yeah. My sit of the week at the tight end position, Jimmy Graham. Again, we don't know if he's going to play, but I'm pretty much done with Jimmy Graham, at least on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think he could go to another team that actually utilizes the tight end and do pretty well.
I don't believe that he got inherently worse moving from the Saints to the Seahawks. Like, his skill level didn't go down. He just doesn't work in that offense, and that offense is just struggling in general. But my sit of the week at the tight end position, Eric Ebron against the Falcons. The Falcons...
but he just had such a good week.
Yes. Don't go chasing points at the tight end position. You'll just get burned and angry. I think the Falcons, it's going to be, they're going to focus on the wide receivers. Especially, I really like Golden Tate in this matchup. I just don't think that the touches are going to be there for Ebron this week.
All right, moving on into defenses. Defense start of the week for me, Ravens. I mean, they've been dominant the past couple weeks. They're playing the Jags. Blake Bortles is going to throw a few picks.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. My start of the week is the Raiders against the Redskins. I think the Redskins are still in tiers, and I don't think that the Raiders are going to be available in most leagues because their defense isn't that strong, but I just don't like the Redskins' offense yet.
All right. I'm going with the Panthers as my sit of the week at defense. I think the Saints bounce back, and I think they pretty much run train on the Panthers this week.
I like that. I'm sitting the Vikings defense against the Bucks. I think the Bucks defense is going to take control of that game, and they're just going to wear the Vikings defense out.
Especially if Sam Bradford is out.
Yeah, especially if Sam Bradford is out. The Bucks offense is going to be on the field a lot because of all the turnovers.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to be our show for today. Like I said, we'll have on Twitter at the 423 Football. We'll have our full list of starts and sits of the week. We'll have hopefully. Possibly get some rankings up there sometime this week, and even some waiver wire ads. So, that's our show. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the 423 Football. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like. Leave your comments. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace out.